quick word of warning. The following contains spoilers for Zach Snyder's cut of Justice League.
Do you guys know the SpongeBob campfire song?
The SpongeBob campfire song?
I do not know that.
CAMPFIRESON. No?
Okay, wait, yes.
Know that. Hello, everybody.
Bringing you the news.
This just in. I am tired.
Womp.
This just in. It's one for safety.
This just in.
Wow. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of One for Safety, the show where indie filmmakers give you their insights and opinions on all things entertainment. That's about all the intro that you're going to get from me today. I'm your host, Phillip. As always, joined by Alex, Leatrice, and Moses.
Yo.
A short intro for a very long movie. You know?
Yeah. We got to get right to the point if we're going to be going to talking about this thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But before we do that, Leatrice, what are you having?
Okay, I'm going to try to do this without moving the mic too much. Okay, I put it right here.
Oh, she's reaching for it.
Mango
I love those.
cart.
Classic.
Yeah, they're really good. So I'm going to open this up with one hand, but close enough to the mic so we get the open.
One-handed.
This is like Foley at its best right here.
I know.
This is how
With the mic
high
right up
budget
to it.
movies are made.
Did you know they make a
Yeah.
non-alcoholic version of Mango Kart?
Yeah, we brought it to work.
Do they?
And then people were freaking out. They're like, "You brought mango cart to work?" And they're like, and then it says
Oh my God.
non-alcoholic. But then if you actually look, it's like 0.8% or something.
They get to the same thing about like kombucha.
Well, that's what they say about a duels, right? They say it's non-alcoholic, but there's some alcohol in it. But like,
Which one? Kombucha?
no. Or
Oh,
duels.
that.
yeah.
You know, like the classic non-alcoholic
Oh,
beer.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Has anyone ever tried it?
No, I had no interest.
I
at all.
remember my friend used to drink it.
Really?
His mom would buy it
Really?
when he was like 12 or 13, and he thought he was really cool.
12 or 13? Really?
Wow.
This makes me want to try it now. You know what? I'm going to get it for the next episode and see.
Okay. Speaking of not getting drunk, I'm having water.
Portland has not changed Phillip that much.
Hydra homie.
You know, it's because it's episode 20. We're hitting like a milestone. You know what I mean?
That's right. We're getting back to our roots today, complaining about movies.
That's what we're best at.
It's what inspired
Oh,
this
yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm curious where this will bring us today.
Yeah. So Alex, what are you having now?
Oh yeah, what am I having?
Just go into it.
Little backstory for you, Phillip, because you weren't here when I was talking about it. There is a rando place in Pasadena that is a Shell station that has a really good selection of beer, actually, which is really random. It's like it actually has like in some ways a better selection than places like Total Wine. Not like total like size wise, but like has a lot of really unique beers. So I found this one. It's called. Just want to make sure I'm getting. She's Tert. She's Tert. You see a little
Whoa, I
jacket.
love that
I thought
art.
you said
What?
cheese turd. I was
No,
like,
not she's Tert. Yeah, can you imagine?
Cheese turd. I get plenty of those.
It kind of reminds me of Walking Dead,
Yeah.
like Negan.
It's kind of got the Negan vibe. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
girl version, and she's got this cool jacket
Sheegan?
with a. Terrible.
Cool.
So she's Tart. Apparently is a tangerine and pink guava sour
Nice,
ale,
good job.
and it contains
Bravo.
milk sugar. So going back
Milk
to my
sugar.
Milk sugar.
lactose thing from last week.
That's probably what lactose is actually. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to back.
Milk
back
sugar.
to back.
Fruit sugar is fructose.
Whoa, that was a weirdly mind-blowing fact that you just did. Here we go. Open this thing. Hopefully I don't spill it this time. I got nothing on my desk that hopefully will be destroyed. Here we go. That's really good.
And what was that called?
Oh,
She's
wow.
Tert. That's how it's spelled. I don't know how to show you. It's on her jacket. Can you?
Oh,
Of the Tert.
she's Tert.
I
She
possess
herself.
the Tert.
She
Hashtag
possesses the Tert.
we all possess the Tert.
But what is this turd? What is this
Tert, like tart, but she's Tert.
Yeah. Tert.
But she's got a cool jacket.
Moses, are you Tert?
Is that wait?
She's Tert.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I didn't. See, that's what I was gonna say. Is Tert like the new Tert
No.
for the youngins?
Oh.
Just say yes. Just say you're Tert.
I'm very Tert right now. I actually didn't get a chance to go to.
You're Tert.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to
I'm
go
all
to Total
turned-
Wine today. I didn't have
Turned
my
with
car.
all you young fellas.
Oh God. Move on, Moses. What are you having? What are you having?
This is not going to help his story either, what he's drinking. Go for it.
Long story short, I didn't have a car to go get Total Wine, so I'm just drinking what I had here at home. So it's the classic Balvenie
Ooh.
12-year Doublewood. So
Lovely.
I'm pretty sure I poured way too much. So if
That's
I get really
that
quiet,
looks like
it's
a
'cause I'm
lot.
drunk. Fun fact: Leatrice had some the other night.
I did. My first whiskey Wednesday
Boys.
night with the boys.
The boys, huh?
A show that Alex apparently really loves and may use as his weekly obsession. Spoiler alert.
All right, we'll spill the beans.
Am I going first?
No, wait, we're not even on.
Yeah, go for it.
Pump the brakes. I know we want to get to the fun, meaty stuff, but we got to get to our weekly artist spotlight.
Excuse me.
Read the show notes.
Oh, that's her? Oh, all right, yeah.
She's too Tert, okay? She's just really
Oh, yeah,
Tert.
okay.
We're all too dirt. So anyway, this week's artist spotlight of the week is Queentide. So Queentide is, according to them, they are an indie front porch folk-ish post-surf post-rock band.
Whoa.
Quote unquote, who cares?
They got me with post surf.
Wait, is that what they said about themselves?
Yeah, this is actually straight off of their Instagram. It says genre indie front porch folkish post surf rock band ? Who cares? They have like, if I had to describe them, I would just have to describe them as like very California. And I get that that's ironic because I now live in Oregon, but like they have that really chill like beach vibe.
Okay. Wow. I'm excited to listen to him.
Just take a listen.
I said, ooh, it's hard to find. I would love to love you, but you're too good a friend of mine. If you share away with me, I'll let you drop in on mine.
So that was a clip off of their latest release, Sticky Salty, and that song was West Galita. And I don't know, what I really like about their music is that they it's just like really relaxing music. And I found out about them because my girlfriend actually went to school with the bass player. They were both in the science illustration program together. So their bass player is definitely the double whammy. She kills it on bass and also is a very talented artist. So if that sounds interesting to any of y'all, you should find them on Instagram at queentide.band. And you should also check out Emma Vogan. That's Emma Vogan on Instagram. She has some really amazing work too. So
Is she the bassist?
yeah, that's the bassist.
So she slaps.
Yep.
What you're saying.
Yeah, yes. Moving on, weekly obsessions. Alex, you seem to be trying to squeeze out of the gate here, so why don't you kick us off?
I was forced through the gate.
Check the gate.
It's it's really tough. I have like two, but I'll just go with one. So okay, I'll do this one just because we were talking about the boys. So one of them is the series Preacher. That I've been really I don't know if any of you have read Preacher or no. I'm sure you know that it was turned into a show at least by I think Seth Rogen actually was one of the people that helped make it happen, which is really
Oh, really?
Yeah, he also did.
That was AMC, right?
I think they did it on AMC or FX. I forget which one did it. I believe
it's with the
he
guy
plays
who played Howard, the young Howard
Jesse,
Stark, right?
who is the main
actor.
character. Which, funny enough, Seth Rogen also had a pretty big hand in The Boys, and both those are written by the same guy, who is Garth Ennis. So that's why I think kind of using that as a transition thing. It's a series
strong
that
dark comedy and drama.
Yeah. Are you saying The Boys or are you saying Preacher?
Both. Well,
Yeah.
Preacher not so much, right? That's more drama.
No,
than...
it's really funny still, but yeah, it's
Oh,
also
okay,
it's
cool.
like very similar in style, but it's very very risque and it pushes a lot of crazy boundaries and will definitely piss off a lot of people, especially religious people, because it's very, very,
So
very.
what you're saying is I should watch it immediately.
I don't know about the show. I can't speak about the show. I'm talking about the books. So,
Oh, okay. So you've only read the books.
yeah, I have not watched the show at all. I don't know if the
Is it
show's
a
good
comic
or not.
book?
It is a graphic novel. Yeah. And
Are you reading them paperback? Or digital?
Paperback. I bought the first 4 series, and for whatever reason I decided to sell the first 3 because I hadn't read the 4th yet. I don't know why. I just like was cleaning stuff out. I was like, oh, I don't need them anymore. And I just had this moment after watching The Boys, and I was like, all right, here's the time. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna finish the series. And I went to my local comic store called Comics World. It's like down in Pasadena. And I used to go there a lot when I was TAing, and I would just like walk down there and like walk their aisles and like get something, you know. And it comes in it's a 6 book series. That's the way they kind of did all the issues. And so I just decided like, fuck it, I'm gonna buy the last 2 books, and I just was like, I'm gonna see how quickly I can read it, if I just am into it or not. And I've read the 4th, 5th, and I'm on the 6th right now in like a week. It's like crazy. I just went fucking hard on it, and but it's been great. It's a really, really cool series. It's really unique and very risque, and it's a good series. It's definitely something that is at no point is it not enjoyable. At least it's definitely gonna do something to you. Either it's gonna piss you off, it's gonna make you laugh, or you're just gonna have a good time reading it. And I'm almost done, so I'm excited to kind of finish and wrap that up. But I'd really recommend it for sure.
Well, if we're talking graphic novels, I want to do my weekly obsession next then.
Go for it.
Because I've been like split between 2 worlds on what my weekly obsession was going to be. But if yours is going to be Preacher, mine is going to have to be The Seeds. It's by Ann Nocenti and David Aja, and it just came out. So it's this book that I've been waiting a long time for. David Aja is my favorite comic illustrator. He did Hawkeye, and we all know how much I like Hawkeye.
That's a flashback in the video where it's you crashing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This actually originally came out in 2017 or 16. They released like 1 issue of it, and then it just got stuck in development hell. And like they just like reshifted ideas. I don't exactly know what happened, but now fast forward to 2021 and it's finally come out, and they released it as a single trade paperback graphic novel instead of a comic series. So I finally was able to get my hands on a copy of it and read it front to back in like 2 days. It is great. It's also, for something that was written 3 years ago, it's even more timely. It almost feels like a satire of where we are or like where we're going, because it's like post-apocalyptic. The world has like a tech zone and like a no tech zone where people are like tech free and don't have electricity and all this stuff, but they go there because they want to get away. And it's this really interesting reporter story. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's worth checking out. The artwork and illustration is alone worth picking up for it. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's made with, I think, 3 colors, white, black, and like 1 shade of green. And like the whole thing is illustrated that way, which I think is a really interesting, like bold take. I could keep talking about it, but we can move on.
Yeah. That's a quick note about Preacher. Funny enough, because it's such an old series, you think that a lot of the things wouldn't still be relevant, but I had a similar feeling that like there's things in it that are kind of still relevant to now. And it's like a series that's like, I think it's like 13 or 14 years old now at this point, if not older. So that's funny you mentioned that too, but it sounds cool. I will check that out too.
So anybody else got some weekly obsessions?
I'll go. I got one. It's not really a physical content to consume, but the gym in my apartment actually opened up, and I've been going consistently. So I'm kind of obsessed with working out now again.
Getting absolutely shredded.
Well, I mean, once upon a time I was pretty swole, but it's actually just literally shaking off rust. Like I'm so sore right now.
That's good.
Yeah, like I took 2 days off and I'm still so sore. So that's what happens when you don't do anything for a whole year.
Is that why the guns are out right now?
Well, no, because it's actually kind of toasty in Pasadena right now, and I got the windows closed, and the whiskey going, so I'm getting pretty hot. I'm getting the alcohol blanket already, so
Nice.
Ah,
I knew it was coming. But yeah, my obsession right now is working out. So hopefully I can be a little healthier. Maybe lose some lbs, some of that quarantine 15. So we'll see how that goes.
Nice.
What about you, Leatrice? Anything?
no.
All right.
Quick, short no.
Yeah.
All right.
Nothing this week. I can't think of anything.
Then let's just move right along, because we all know what we're here to talk about. We've all seen it. If you haven't seen it, you've probably heard about it, and it's Zach Snyder's recut of 2017 Justice League.
It was 2017 when it was first released.
Yeah,
Yeah, 4 years
Jesus
ago.
Christ, 4 years.
wild.
Yeah.
Which is like,
Wow.
it feels like the movie just came out and then they like recut it now that I'm like watching it. But yeah, it came out a while ago.
Wow, what a true test of perseverance, that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for those of you who aren't in the know, the theatrical release of Justice League back in 2017 was not the movie that Zack Snyder intended it to be. So according to, I was reading up on it, according to Vanity Fair, Snyder left the project after clashing with the production team a lot, like the producers. They wanted one movie and he was making another movie. And then he had a family tragedy and eventually like left the project before it got finished. But it was supposed to be about 85% shot when he left. And then they brought in Joss Whedon. And after, a mountain of reworking and recuts, we got 2017's Justice League.
Oh yeah.
And I was reading up on it, and apparently Zack Snyder has never seen it.
Oh, wow.
He never watched that cut because Christopher Nolan, who was a executive producer, and Zack Snyder's wife, Deborah Snyder, watched a screening of it. And when they came out, they told him that he could not watch the movie because it was so bad and not what.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like if that were me, I would be like, I have to see what's going on here.
Yeah.
Good for
No.
him that he didn't, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But if someone like destroyed your baby and all your work, would you really want to go see it? Like that
I don't know.
that would hurt really bad, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it would have raised hell though if I had seen it and like told WB like, what the fuck? Like this is not what I was signed on for. Like what's going on here?
Yeah.
No, but instead he did the right thing. He let the internet do its work.
Yeah.
And hashtags took over. He sat and he waited like a patient man. And then $70 million later, here we have his Snyder cut.
Well, he kind of started that thing, didn't he? Didn't he like tweet like, "Oh, my version of the movie wasn't like this" or something like that? And then didn't it catch on that way?
I think people had just heard about it because I remember before the movie even came out, there was already reports that he wasn't on the project, and then there was kind of like in the ethos that what was coming out was not his movie anymore, and so like by the time when the movie had come and like hit theaters, people were already starting the hashtag.
Wow, even before the movie was out, that's crazy.
But so whether or not Zack Snyder has seen it, we've seen his 4-hour version, and my biggest question and first question for all of you is, was it worth it?
For him, yeah.
I haven't seen the first version, so for me, yes, because I think that's
so then as a virgin viewer of the Justice League, was it good considering the runtime?
Yeah, I thought it was
too long.
I mean, length aside, I think it was still good. Like I think nothing felt like, I tried to go back in my mind and like there's maybe like one or two scenes that I think could be taken out, but I don't think it all kind of made sense when you think about what was happening in the world he was building. I will say it's significantly better than Batman vs Superman, which was just a dumpster fire. I mean, of a movie. And I'd rather sit through 4-hour Justice League than rewatch Batman vs Superman.
Yeah. So who here has seen the original cut?
I've seen it, yeah.
Okay, so the three of us have seen it. And I mean, for like having seen the original cut versus the Snyder cut, do you feel like there was radical differences? Because I mean, I've half watched the original cut about 3 times. I've tried getting through it and like I couldn't.
So 1.5 full times you've seen it.
Yeah, so about 1.5 full times I've seen it,
Yeah.
and I got out of this one and honestly didn't feel like I'd watched a radically different movie.
I don't think it was like a lot different, but I think this cut definitely added things that was definitely needed that you know the Whedon version just didn't have. Like I remember thinking to myself, like the whole cyborg arc in the Snyder cut is like pretty important, and like Whedon just kind of like blazed through it, and it was just like it didn't make sense, but watching the Snyder cut, it made a lot more sense.
Yeah.
I didn't think, and then just the whole like CG part of it, like Steppenwolf looks pretty cool, and like they actually gave him some kind of depth. He wasn't there just like trying to conquer a planet. He was there for a reason.
Yeah. Okay. So then I really don't. I've kind of forgotten the original cut, and so they're all kind of like mixing together. So I'm guessing then those scenes where Steppenwolf is like talking to the bigger guy were probably added. That's new. Dark side.
Yeah.
God, that is such a dumb name.
Well, that's interesting because in the Whedon cut, Steppenwolf goes to Earth first and then gets like beat, and then he comes back again. But in the Snyder cut, what happens is Darkseid goes first, gets beat, and then Steppenwolf comes. So
yeah, that's
was a different story.
So I didn't watch the movies, but I watched this video that literally just did this exact thing where where it was like a 20-minute long video of like, here are literally all the differences, and seeing it that way was pretty significant, where you're like, whoa, there is even just from an emotional standpoint, like literally maybe the pieces were similar and they just added to the original pieces that they already had, but like the emotional standing of certain things, or things like what Moses just mentioned, is like such a weird change. Like, why did they have Steppenwolf go the first time, and why not just have Darkseid go the first time? Like, it's such a bizarre thing that these pieces that didn't need to be changed were changed.
I think too, something that I liked better about this one, so oddly enough, when I first started it was like, this will be presented in 4:3. And I was like, fuck off, Zach Snyder. Fuck off.
Do you know why it was in 4:3 though?
You like the taller.
So because it was, I think it was supposed to be displayed in IMAX, or it was shot in IMAX, I think it was. And so 4:3, from what I read, was that kind of...
It's closer to the IMAX aspect ratio.
Yeah, proportionately kind of closer, yeah.
I heard some weird thing that he just liked the taller frame more.
I actually think that probably has more to do with it, because obviously the original cut, the theatrical cut, was in 16:9, but I think that Zack Snyder, more than any other director, does have a knack for shooting like a comic book, which is something that I think that like DC has gotten wrong so much, is that like they keep trying to be like the discount version of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and part of that comes with like trying to make their movies like look different but like still look like Marvel movies, which is what we got with Justice League, where it just feels like you're watching a bad knockoff of the Avengers with like their weird banter and stuff that's like really doesn't hit home, where like the Snyder cut, watching it in 4:3 already like really definitively defines itself as something different. And I think that because of the 4:3 aspect ratio, it kind of gives it this like comic-esque feel that actually to me makes the backgrounds, like, there's such a heavy use of green screen. The green screen actually like almost feels like an artistic choice at times to create those like backsplash panels that we think of in comic books, that like that flatness,
right, I
think actually works to his advantage in the movie.
Yeah, when you think about it, I mean, Joss Whedon did direct Avengers, right? So like he naturally brought over his Marvel tendencies. So like, and that was another one of those big changes, right? Like even the color correction was significantly different in a way that I think Joss Whedon's feels cheaper, even though there's like a lack of maybe the green screen is even heavier in some ways in Zack Snyder's, but I think that for some reason it feels weird in the clips I've seen of the Joss Whedon cut. And the thing I'll say this about Zack Snyder is like, and I know we hate this word, I'm gonna say this word again, sorry Leatrice, is the word auteur. Because I would say that like I actually gotta give it to him if we have to think of it in a weird way. Like there is a very definitive Zack Snyder style when you think about it, and I think he brought that to this. And I think this was more that way. Like when I think of 300 or Watchmen or this, even his Man of Steel stuff, he definitely has a very specific style that I think he brings to the table that kind of differentiates him from Marvel and in some ways works. I mean, you can't deny how visually awesome his stuff always is. You know, like even if you don't like the stories or the writing or any of that stuff, you can at least go, well, that guy's a pretty visually awesome director. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I think my favorite scenes in the film overall, I should probably just say this, like overall, I actually didn't enjoy it as much as I hoped I was going to. I thought it was markedly better than the original cut, but at the end of the day, I still felt like I was watching a B superhero movie that didn't fully pull together in the way I was hoping it would.
I mean, even saying that is like a big upgrade.
But my favorite moments in it were, I think, actually like Flash's action sequences, because I think Snyder's style really lends itself to like the high speed movements of Flash. And like that intro sequence where the girl gets in the car accident and he comes and catches her. Did you hate that?
I thought that made absolutely no sense.
But from a visual standpoint, we just
visual standpoint, I also thought that was ridiculous.
You don't even think it looked,
Really?
but you don't think it looked good? That's all I'm asking.
Sure, if I freeze frame something, like, yeah, I guess a girl being thrown out of her car can look that serene and peaceful.
You're still talking about the narrative. I'm just talking about the visuals. I don't care, but I guess I agree. It's stupid as fuck.
Visually, that's why I couldn't get into it, because visually I was like, wait, what? Like, okay, cool. I guess she's frozen. Cool. I mean, he's moving really fast. There was just so much slow-mo, then regular speed, and then slow-mo, then regular speed. They're like, in the first 15 minutes of the film, it's like, I'm gonna walk in slow-mo. Everything's gonna happen in slow-mo, and I'm just gonna have a moment. There's so much heavy breathing.
That's so true. That's very true.
That's what I'm saying, is that like I don't think that I got really over the Snyder look of like the speed ramping where they go ultra slow motion for everything, because there's like zero kinetic energy in the action sequences, where it's like it's all pose work, where like they stand still and then they like throw a punch, and then as soon as they start to throw a punch it like slows down.
That
where
bothered
like
me to shit, but it's cool, sure.
But like Marvel films have that kinetic energy, that movement, that like things moving in and out of the frame and like the camera's moving with them, that you like feel like you're in an action sequence. And I felt like I was watching like a Greek tragedy or like a stage play of something, where like the action was really hammed up and they were like, look how crazy powerful these punches are, but really they're standing still and like,
for me, I couldn't separate like the setup for the action. Like if you're gonna have really great action, then you have to lay down the groundwork and foundation for the action to pay off for me. I think that when I was watching that scene happen, and I was like, all right, that truck is just, yep, I can see it coming. He's gonna drop the burger. He can't see it. She's gonna get T-boned or something. And then when he ran out to go do it, I was like, oh, it's kind of cool. It's just that they lost me because they just wanted to make it look good.
Yeah.
But because they only cared about making it look good, it took me out of it completely. But I can't separate. If you're asking me to separate story from visual, I won't be able to say, yeah, I loved how it looked. I was just like, yeah, it was cool. But personally, I can't love it.
I mean, I feel like you just literally put Zack Snyder's career in a nutshell. Like literally, that is Zack Snyder. Like every film is that way. Like I don't think we could say any of his films.
Yeah, I never said that he's not that kind of person. I never expected him to be something else. I'm just like, if you ask me, like, you didn't think that scene was like cool? I was like, yeah, I guess it was cool, but it irritated me.
Yeah,
there are good character movement decisions that I have not seen in other like high speed superheroes like
Mhm.
Quicksilver. I like Quicksilver in First Class, or is he in First Class, or
I think he's in the second one, Days of Future Past. Yeah.
yeah. So him in that, he has that really cool kitchen scene,
Oh yeah,
which is
yeah.
like really fun.
That was cool.
But I think one thing that they got wrong is that he like touches things quickly when he's moving. And I think what they got right about the Flash is that he touches things extremely like lightly. You see that there's like care in the way he moves, where like if you were actually moving at that speed and you like tap somebody at like a regular motion for you, you would like obliterate them because there's such a momentum transfer that would happen right there. Like,
Of course, you would bring physics into this.
Yeah, like when he tapped Wonder Woman's sword with his index finger, he's like, bink, and then it,
yeah,
like all right.
exactly. So like those, I think those things are what it was like. It was a nice attention to detail, but I do agree with you that like they had totally lost me with like the lead up to that scene of like the reaching for the cheeseburger. It's like we've seen this before, and it's so cliche, and it's like so hammed up and in your face.
Yeah, it felt like a burger commercial. Like I was waiting for something. Like I was like, that's a burger commercial.
There's so much product placement.
Yeah, so much, so much.
When we were watching it, and there's that scene where Bruce Wayne is shaving, and Serena goes, "Wait, I thought he was a billionaire. I have that racer."
Dude, that's such product placement though. Like that was obviously like we need
How
to pay
else
for
would
this.
they be able to like get that 70 million? They had to.
Yeah.
He had to convince a bunch of people like, let me put your Mercedes in this movie, and you give us 5 million. And then like, sure, all right.
So I gotta ask then. So okay, the first scene you didn't like of the Flash. Did you not like the ending scene when he like goes back in time?
No, that looked cool.
Okay,
That was so sick.
okay.
Yeah, it was
I was
great.
I was just curious, like
visually,
the
it was. Yeah, I think that might have been one of the few scenes.
like where does your visual to narrative kind of hatred begin and end? You know.
That it actually connects.
Yeah, like it has to connect on some point. Like I just couldn't believe that's how that scene would have transpired. Like I just I
Yeah, no,
watched
I
it and be
agree.
like, no. But then him running back in time, you see, he had placed that a few times in his dialogue. He had talked about if you run super fast, time gets kind of loopy. Okay, and I was like, all right, cool. And then because now
There's this-
it was like him like, I need to heal, I need to do this, I have to fix this, and it all like goes wrong. Then he is the only one left with the option to fix things. So him running
right.
back in time, running as fast as he possibly can, and saying, I'm gonna break the rules just this once. And then when he visually executed that, I was like, there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I getcha. Which, by the way, I think that's also a massive change of ending. If
Yeah.
you're talking about a
Yeah.
different
Oh, yeah.
thing, that was a huge, major change of narrative. Like in the original Whedon, as far as I'm aware, they just like picked up a building or some shit, and then they like did some dumb shit.
dumb.
And so that was like a huge change that they did in the cuts. So
I thought I want to agree with you on that like there was that setup that was really great where like they hinted at it when they brought Superman back to life when he dives forward and like just for like a split second time goes backwards,
Yeah.
and then that's a good setup for Flashpoint paradox.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did still find Ezra Miller. I think that they went a little hard on Ezra Miller's character as the quirky kid from the quirky kid. Period.
From
Like-
Perks of the Wallflower. Wasn't he on Perks of being a Wallflower?
Yeah, he was there too, but he was cooler in Perks
Yeah,
of being a wallflower than he was here.
He was good in the Stanford Prison Experiment.
Oh yeah, him and that too.
He was really good.
But
in
I
that.
think Ezra Miller has the capability of being quirky without being so like neurotic,
Yeah.
which he didn't have to be, but they really laid that on him, and I was just thinking,
Yeah, they hammed it up. They hammed it up for sure. But
I mean, I think one thing that I'm glad to see gone in the Snyder cut was like the hammed dialogue in some of the scenes where like I think Whedon came over from Marvel, a place where like these people have been working together for like 10 years and they have that dialogue and that like relationship on set.
and they have
And
Robert
then-
Downey Jr.
Yeah, exactly. Like in Marvel, these people like work well together because they've been working together for so long. Where like Justice League, really outside of Batman versus Superman, most of these people have never been on screen together before. But like we're still getting they were trying to like give that like they're a fun superhero team. Look at the way they
Yeah.
poke fun at each other.
They were
And
trying to force chemistry.
every single moment fell flat in the original cut,
Mhm.
and I think they cut a lot of it out.
Oh
And
yeah.
there's one scene in particular when Superman comes back to life and Lois Lane comes out.
Oh my God, yeah.
The way that's done is different in the
I'm so
Oh,
happy.
yeah.
yeah, because he's like bring out the secret weapon or whatever,
Yeah.
and
The big guns, I think he says.
it just feels so it feels so stupid.
Yeah.
And then that isn't in the Snyder cut at all.
I was like, why did you bother? Yeah, I was just like, why
Yeah.
did you bother doing that? Why did you wait? Like, what were you
Mm-hmm.
afraid? Like, now you see that he's really like manic and he's about to
No,
kill
yeah.
everyone. You're gonna sacrifice possibly a human. I was like,
It also makes Batman look really manipulative.
yeah, a lot of things. I still can't believe they kept the line in there where Lois is like, "You smell good," and he's like, "I didn't smell good before." I was like, "Fuck."
Mhm.
I hated that line in the Josh Whedon
That's
cut,
so good.
and I hated that line here. I was just like,
Also, I think one big problem I had with the movie was that on some level the whole thing really did feel kind of like Superman was just, they were like every other character was there just to make Superman look good
In which
Yeah.
cut? In the
in both
In
cuts. But like I think especially in the Snyder cut where it's like they have that whole scene where he comes back to life and he can take all 5 of them at once because he's Superman, and then it's like there's a Kryptonian on the planet and it's like, oh man, the box didn't turn on because Superman was dead, and or like the box turned on because Superman's dead. Now they're trying to get the fuck out of here because Superman's not dead anymore. And there's also a line earlier in the film where Steppenwolf or whatever is like, now's the time to strike.
'Cause-
And he's like, no Kryptonians,
Yeah.
no lanterns or whatever.
yeah, he's like, no, I don't sense any, and then which is weird though because when he
Yeah.
came back, I'm surprised he didn't immediately go, oh shit, there's one now. How
Yeah.
did he not sense it the second?
don't know.
That time. Whatever, it's fine.
It's because it's dumb. It's because, yeah.
don't know. There's again a lot of plot holes, but that's how Zack Snyder works. He's like,
Yeah.
No one needs story in a Snyder movie. Come on.
yeah.
I mean, with all that said, like, do you guys feel like this is a beacon of hope for the DC cinematic universe, or like a last hurrah at it?
Definitely
we
not
think
a
that we're
last
gonna get-
hurrah.
No? You think this is going to be their excuse to keep making more?
I'm
Yeah.
curious to see what happens with the new Suicide Squad movie.
I
Yeah.
did not
James
like the
Gunn.
trailer for that either.
You did not like it? I think it's the most fun of a thing it's definitely them trying to go for like their Guardians, obviously because it's James Gunn, but
Yes, 'cause
like
it's
Guardians
James Gunn.
style, like fun adventure ride type thing that's R-rated. So I think I appreciate what it's doing. 'Cause compared to the first Justice League, I was just like, this looks like I think the first one,
yeah.
David Ayers, I think was trying purposely to make a very dramatic, serious thing, and I love
Suicide Squad?
yeah, and I think he
Yeah.
said that specifically. He was trying to make something dramatic, and I love that James Gunn is like, nah, fuck that shit, dude. And he's like, let's make this like weird, like quirky thing with the supervillains, which I think just makes way more sense to me as a viewer, because I always felt watching the original Suicide Squad that made me hate it so much. I think was
Oh, it was terrible.
It was terrible as it was, but
Yeah,
then
it's fucking terrible.
but I was like, why is he trying to make these people a family? They're all super villains. They're like murderers and horrible people. And then he's like, we're a family. And I'm like, what? It's not fast
What
enough.
are we? Some kind of
Well-
Suicide Squad?
It's
well,
so
supposedly there's a David Ayer cut.
I don't want to
that-
see
because-
that
Oh,
shit.
fuck
Fuck
that
off. Get
up.
out of here.
So because of the success of the Snyder cut and the fans bringing that back,
No.
people are now saying like, bring the Ayer
Hell
cut. I
no.
wanna see the
Hell
Ayer
no.
cut.
I don't want to see that.
Stop.
But you see, this is my problem with DC. It's like they want to jump straight, and maybe it'll work. They want to jump straight into an ensemble type of film that's going to
Yeah.
carry the rest of their films. But
Yeah.
the thing is, they didn't do the groundwork. They
Yeah.
didn't lay down the foundation for why we should care about these characters. So naturally, when you put all these characters that already have such big screen presence or character presence from the comic books, then we're just gonna be like struggling to remember who is who and why any one of them is worth it, aside from like Harley Quinn.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean,
it's
they're
just-
all, they're just, they're behind, right? They're just trying to catch up here. So I think that's mainly
Yeah,
the
that's
reason why.
my issue with DC. I don't think that the Snyder Cut revived the DC universe per se. I think that they were always going to make more superhero films. especially because Marvel will continue to churn out what they have, and with the success of post Endgame with WandaVision, that they know that there's still money to milk, so they're gonna do it. But it doesn't mean that it's gonna be good, because Snyder Cut was better than Whedon's cut, but it wasn't a great film.
Yeah,
or a good film.
They're like working in reverse.
okay.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I was
Which
gonna
is
say
okay,
that. I mean,
I guess.
I feel like, everyone's so enamored, at least like the masses seem to be enamored by this cut. And I'm like, I just don't, like, I feel like Zack Snyder's like a 1 for 3 batting average right now, right? You have like Man of Steel, which I don't know if you consider that like a win or a hit. I think I say no. I think it was okay. And then you have Batman vs Superman, which is like easily a strikeout. And then and then you get this, and you're like, okay, well, that's not bad. That's okay. But I'm like, now do we trust that he's gonna keep going and getting better, or is he just gonna like stay where we're at?
It's interesting because if you think of like Wonder Woman, the first one was really good, and then the second one was trash.
Yeah,
but
really
bad.
Same
director, so it's obviously that like the WB executives are just dabbling way too heavy into the production of the films, and it's not ending up great at all.
Yeah,
like they should just let these people like do what they were signed on to do.
I mean, it always makes me think of like, I have a saying of like, a lot of big Hollywood movies are not directed, they're produced.
Right.
Where it's just like teams and boardrooms of people, like, you could have like 20, 30 people making decisions on this kind of stuff. And when like the money is in their pocket, they get the final say. And so even if you have like a directorial vision, a director might know what they want, and then to have a boardroom of producers above them be like, no, we actually think the market research tells us that the kids really want this. And you're like, I don't know. I don't have a lot of hope for the DC cinematic universe.
Yeah.
I know that they're going to keep making these films, but my personal opinion, I think that they should go the like single movie route and just start making movies that stand alone.
Yeah.
That don't exist inside of some broader thing. Like I really hated the epilogue in this movie.
You mean the 5
It's like-
epilogues in this movie? Cause that's what
It was
felt like.
ridiculous. Because what it felt like was, Marvel gives you these like little chunks at the end, right? It's like after all the credits. And again, DC is trying to play catch up, and they're like, we got to set up as many fucking movies as we can right here. Let's just do it. And like you get the weird Jared Leto as the Joker on the bridge, and like the alternate reality. It's like that. What? Why are you here?
And then also like, why is Batman seeing all of this? It makes I was just like, what? Why? I don't understand.
Because they want to have a scene with the Joker so bad. That's it.
Yeah, it felt totally out of place.
But
That's
if
why I
anyone
think-
should have
like-
seen it, it should have been Barry when he was breaking the sound. I mean, the speed.
Right.
What was the speed
time
force? And then and then when he was going through it, if anyone should have seen it, it should have been him. Like, why are we watching Batman in this? Like, I get it, he's Batman, but he's also just Batman.
Martian Manhunter.
Right.
He was like,
Yeah, and then Martian Manhunter is in there for no reason.
I mean, not no reason. He is like
yeah.
a big-ish part of the Justice League.
Yeah,
You know,
but I mean, like the way they introduced him was so shoehorned in.
with the thing with the middle scene or the end scene.
Well, first he just randomly shows up.
Yeah, I was like, who the
to tell Lois Lane,
fuck is that?
which went from like it went from being like a heartfelt moment of like the mother of a super god and like the lover of a super god having like a moment.
Yeah.
To being like, it's actually an alien.
You know what I actually thought? What I actually thought for a second? I was like, is his mom dead? Like I had that like brief pause because I was like, wait a minute. And then when she shows up later at the farm, I was like, is that Martian Manhunter, or is this his real mom now? Like I don't understand anymore. Like I'm so confused. It was such a weird moment.
Yeah, and it felt weirdly inappropriate because
Yeah.
he kind of came in and became a different person because she knew that Lois would let her guard down around his mom, and just to convince her to go back to work. And I was like, dude, do you know how unethical this is? Like, what if she actually contacts Martha and was like, hey, I'm so sorry about the farm? I was like, what? I didn't tell you that.
Wait, yeah,
And
you're
then she's
so
like,
right.
huh?
that for sure must have happened, right? Like, oh, thanks for coming over last night. You know, it was really,
I know. I'm so
what?
sorry you lost everything. I heard what you're saying, and I'll go back to work. And then she's like, what are you talking about, hon?
Yeah. But you know, the thing that's shitty is I feel like we're in this weird minority here, guys, is that like it's gonna make a lot of money and it's getting like good IMDb reviews, and the masses are like, you know, like they're freaking out, like, you know,
Jeez.
like having a, you know, weird reaction to all this.
That's probably the perfect sound to make for the people who are like,
Snyder.
yeah.
That sounds like an orgasm just happened.
Yeah, I mean,
Snyder is an auteur.
dude, for real though. But yeah, I think it's unfortunate that he might get what he wants. I mean, it's not unfortunate because I do hope it ends up being better, but I think for the most part he's set himself up in a really good way that I think it's gonna probably happen. Like I mean, it's got like a really good IMDb score. For the most part, it's getting like mediocre like other scores like from actual critics. It was like the most streamed movie on HBO Max like ever, I think, or one of the most streamed. I think Wonder Woman was maybe first. I just think that it's giving them all the right. It's giving Snyder all the ammo he needs in order to continue, whether or not we like it or not. Like I think it's gonna happen. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's good for him. This is probably the best case scenario, because if he had just released his own cut, the one that he wanted to release, it probably wouldn't have gained as much traction as it has now.
Yeah.
People would have just been like,
Yeah.
you know what, that was
4
all
hour
right.
long movie. Yeah.
That was all right.
Good job. At
That
certain
wasn't all.
parts.
That was all.
But because they had a
watchable.
movie that was so panned to compare with, they're like, you see how much better his is? It's like, well, yeah, but I mean, if you're comparing a pile of shit to like a don't know
Like
what that is.
cup of shit.
Yeah. maybe
So-
it's better, which is okay, I guess.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I did enjoy myself, like for an action film where I can turn my brain off. I was like, yeah, hey.
I feel like for me, the bottom line for me is that I think the movie would have been 40% shorter and 40% more watchable if they had just sped up the movie. Like you could watch
Oh,
that movie
yeah.
on 2 times speed and it actually would play at regular speed and
yeah.
it'd be like a 2-hour film.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things you can cut out of it to still make it good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't
and you know
know.
the good parts. I felt like the good parts were still, like, I'm not saying that the acting was bad. I'm not saying this. I think that Jason Momoa and Gal Gadot were still, to me, good characters in the film. I think they were just underutilized. They were constantly characters that kept having things happen to them versus them actually doing things. And then Batman was the one putting everything in motion, and he was receiving everything too. So I was just like, you kind of sideline these really great characters that, with actors who have that kind of natural ability to capture me. I think that Gal Gadot has that, and Jason Momoa has that, and even the actor for Cyborg in the Whedon cut, he was like destroyed. I didn't remember him at all. And in this one, the actor for Ray Fisher, is that his name?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that he did a good job, and he was personable, and he was this character that we wanted to follow because he was the closest to who we were as viewers. But then again, they just, Batman, do everything. You're the one who set all this up. It's
I mean,
all
there's
you.
but there's a reason. I mean, it's like because of his guilt from what happened with Superman. I mean, there's enough of a reason for why he was putting things into place. Like, it wasn't just totally random.
Right.
The only random thing that you mentioned, which I agree, is why did he receive the visions? That's kind of bizarre. But it felt like a nightmare, not like a vision. Like, to, you know what I mean? Like, I think it could be, you could take it either way. I think to us, we see it as a vision, right? And to
It
him,
had to be a vision, right? Because
This isn't the first time we've seen this. It was in Batman vs Superman too.
yeah, Cyborg saw this vision when he tapped into the mother box.
Yeah,
So it
so-
was like he saw a version of it happening. So then, for whatever reason, Batman was able to continue seeing the version happen.
maybe
Except
because he was
for
around the mother
himself.
box. I mean, I don't know.
But, like,
it's just
That's the weird thing though, is he already had these visions before the mother box even was a thing.
Did he?
Right.
Because in Batman versus Superman, he has visions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
he
yeah.
did it.
He had, yeah.
He has a weird fever dream where like he's dressed up the exact same way and like it's all dusty and he kills like 15 people. Then he wakes up and he's like, Batman
Wait,
doesn't
Doesn't he
kill
get visited by like
No,
Future
yeah,
Flash?
that's what I was gonna say. Is it even a dream? Because Flash comes in and like talks to him like directly,
Yeah.
right?
There's a moment where
Like he
in the
like he tells him like Lois is the key, like you were right all along, or some shit like that.
yeah.
So it's not even really a vision, right?
I don't even know.
Sure. I think that part, I mean, that part happened, but then the Joker and seeing like
yeah.
what was happening, I'm like, is that a vision or is that a dream? I
I
guess
mean, the
you can
fact that we're
argue
not
either
sure
way.
is kind of annoying.
Who's
Yeah.
to say?
Yeah.
I feel like it's just supposed to be like this is an actual scene from the future, just letting you guys know. Like,
Yeah, of course.
be warned.
Of
Yeah.
course.
I also heard they shot that scene in Zack Snyder's backyard.
In what's backyard?
That's really good. That's kind of awesome, actually.
I hope that's true.
Yeah.
I hope that they shot that with like a Sony Handycam.
Yeah. That's why it was all out of focus. They were just like, just keep it out of focus. No one's gonna know how good the
Yeah.
quality is.
Yeah. It's like, do you need a production designer? No need. I'm going to shoot at a 0.9. It's going to be
Yeah, yeah.
fine.
Sir, it's okay. Mr. Snyder, this camera only shoots in 4:3. That's okay. We'll just make the whole movie 4:3 so it'll fit right in.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's like one of the few scenes I did think that could have been taken out altogether.
Yeah.
If there was like one thing,
Yeah.
I think I know people would. I mean, there's a lot of people clutching their pearls because they're like, but the Joker, because everyone loves the Joker so
I don't
much.
even think he's a good Joker.
No, I'm not
so-
saying he
Clutching
is.
their pearls, eh?
Yeah, but I think more so like he's not the best Joker, but I think that people love the fucking character Joker so goddamn much. You know what I mean? That like anything
Yeah.
he's in, they're like, ooh, like Joker.
Like a concerning
I don't
amount.
think
Yeah.
he's a great Joker.
I don't think he's a great Joker either.
I don't like it either. Yeah.
I want Mark Hamill as the Joker again.
That'd be cool.
I miss that kind of Joker. He actually is my favorite Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah, from like the animated series and like the Arkham Asylum games.
Yeah.
He's so good. He has
Speaking
like,
of which, the animated
Yeah.
series is on HBO Max.
oh hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna circle it back to Justice League.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any final thoughts outside that don't have to do with the Joker?
Mm.
Where was Green Lantern?
Where was Green
Where's
Lantern?
my boy at?
Where is Ryan Reynolds?
He didn't fit Snyder's vision of this dark world of Justice League.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
unfortunate because I think Green Lantern's like really cool.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, the Green
Lantern,
Lantern movie was also horrible.
Yeah, that was trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but he's also Deadpool now, so we're all right.
True.
Yeah.
Yep, and he makes fun of him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just they referenced the Green Lanterns, but yeah, I'm definitely curious, especially in that big battle. So that's my only.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they're gonna if he gets his Snyder-Verse, are they gonna bring in the Green Lanterns? But
I mean, I feel like at some point they have to bring him in, right?
yeah,
The Green Lantern is played by Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
fuck yes.
Well, he's playing Black Adam.
He can play both. He can be both.
Wait,
He can do Ryan,
really?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
He's Black
he's
Adam.
gonna be Black Adam.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson is gonna be in DC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I know.
I had no idea until right now.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a weird cast.
Does that mean that Fast and Furious and DC are gonna have like the
Crossover.
FF DCCU?
Oh
I
my
know.
God.
They split them up. You know, you got Vin Diesel with Marvel as Groot, and you got Black Adam with.
Like Batman will go over to like the Fast and Furious and meet like Vin Diesel, and he's gonna be like family.
And they
Batman's
hotwire
gonna
the
be like,
Batmobile.
yes.
Wait, Gal Gadot was already in Fast and Furious. This would create some upset.
True, I totally forgot about her.
That's oh
Yes.
my
she
god.
was.
Who else? Oh my god! Now we're talking about this. There has to be someone else.
The guy who directed Aquaman directed Fast 5 or one of the Fast and Furious movies.
God, I cannot believe they're on the 9th one.
I know.
Eh,
Not stopping anytime
They're
soon.
going to space next.
They're gonna do electric cars, and then they're gonna do spaceships. I'm so
Gonna do electric cars.
yeah.
well, final thoughts.
Mm,
Snyder's Justice League was okay.
Yeah.
Much better than Whedon's, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have any more thoughts on it.
I think that I'm all right with they want to do this whole like let's have the group together and build off of that. But I just don't think they have the kind of creative diversity to be able to create characters backwards like that. they probably should start from
Yeah.
one, because they did a great job with the first Wonder Woman. I think people were like excited because of that. They shot the bed with the second, but maybe the next.
Shat the bed. That's a funny
I think
phrase.
bed.
If there's any takeaway that I can think of that I hope like executives will take away from this is that when you let your director make the movie, it's gonna be better.
Yeah, true.
I think this is actually a great case study in that.
Yeah.
I'm almost in some ways curious if they did release the David Ayers cut, if that would hurt that theory or make it better. Like I almost want to see a David Ayers cut because
I don't support that.
I do and I don't.
I'm gonna support it.
Purely from what you
damn
just
it.
said, because I'm kind of curious. Like I think it
Yeah,
would
yeah.
backfire. I think it actually would be worse.
I don't know. Maybe
Wow.
not.
Be-
I'll leave it on this. I want to see the Chris Miller and Phil Lord cut of Solo.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I do too.
And you know what? That's going to do it for us today. So don't forget to hit us up on iTunes and Spotify or anywhere else you can find podcasts. And please, please, please come find us in the Discord or Instagram DMs at 1for-safety. That's 1_4_safety. And I think that's going to do it for us this week. So as always, you've been listening to 1 for Safety.